right, 40 years. Wow, that's a long time. I thought 30 years plus that I spent there, a lifetime. Anyway, you've done a wonderful job for Siri over the years. Had a huge impact on many, many people, shareholders, board, management. While I was there, the impact was you had on me substantial. Really appreciate your time and your support that you gave me while I was there. I know you've gone through time as CEO. Your input. I know that you're well respected in Washington, D.C. Throughout Anchorage. You've done a tremendous job. And it's well appreciated by many, many of the shareholders. I wish I could be there in person, but all this COVID baloney going on, this just can't be possible. I wish another 40 years, but for that ain't gonna happen. But I wish you well endeavors on the farm, and look forward to seeing you sometime here in the future. Stay well. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Hey Barb, it's Jerry. How are you today? What a big day for you. So I was asked to say a few words, and I'm really honored to do that. I started working at Siri in 2002 as their lobbyist, and if you recall, Carl was the president and CEO at the time. He made it very clear to me right off the bat that I was to report to Barb and not bother him with any of the little stuff. If he wanted my opinion on something, he would ask me for it. That kind of sounds like him, doesn't it? I had known Barb for years while I was involved with AFN at first, and then after I was elected to the House and then the Senate. How could anyone not know who Barb was, right? She's smart, classy, beautiful, and poised. Barb has always had a very friendly demeanor about her, and she was involved on behalf of Siri, of course, but she obviously cared about all people, all of our people. Every one of those things about Barb that I just said are true to this day. But that was when I really got to know Barb, after getting the opportunity to represent Siri on state issues, and that has been 18 years. Amazing how time flies. First under Carl, then Margie, and then now under Sophie's leadership, Barb has always been the one to carry forward Siri's strategy, the message, certainly, and our priorities. It's truly been an honor to work with you, Barb. I've learned so much from you, and I've just thoroughly enjoyed every minute of it. Even when I try to start getting a little too Republican on you, and you had to yard me back into to left of center. I think you know what I'm talking about. We accomplished actually a lot of really good things together, and I remember when Senator Murkowski lost in the Republican primary is one of them to Joe Miller, and we were all absolutely losing our minds over that, about the prospect of him becoming our United States Senator. Like a few others, Barb really stepped up. The CEO's group selected Barb along with Sherry Gale and Chris McNeil to oversee our Alaskans Standing Together super PAC. That elected to try and elect and eventually did elect Lisa Murkowski as a write-in candidate, something that's never happened in our country's history. They asked me to run that campaign, and we pulled together and we did it. Trust me when I say that Barb was a true driving force behind that effort every day. Another highlight was getting the state to spend $25 million on the intertie from Fire Island. It was really key to the project being able to move forward And once again, Barb skillfully managed our strategy and the different people involved in our messaging on that one as well. You know, I could go on and on about things that we worked on together, but they were not only things that directly impacted CIRI. They were things that were good for our people. There were things that were good for our elders and the less fortunate. There were things that were just simply good for our state. When it was time to advocate for something, Barb, you were always there. And when it came time to stand up, push back, and do the right thing, as we all know, you're not afraid to do that either. And you're doing the same exact thing to this day. It's amazing. Barb, I just want to say you're truly a role model to me and to others. Your consistency is really remarkable over these years. Your commitment to CIRI this past 40 years has been amazing. And your love for our people is obviously everlasting. Thank you, Barb, for being a good leader and for being an even better friend. Love you, Barb. Congrats on your wonderful life this far. And here's to many, many more.
You would think that after 10 years or even 20 years, CIRI would have established some sort of standard by which it decides to retain employees, but apparently that didn't happen. And Barbara Donatelli was able to slip under the wire, not just for that period, but for 30 and even 40 years. At some point, presumably some kind of change will be made. But if you ask yourself, how was Barbara able to manage to hang around the rim for 40 years? I think the answer is, first and foremost, she was able to lend a little class to the place. And that was not easy to do, as you can imagine. But Barb has a lot of class, and she could afford to share a little of it with CIRI. And eventually, if you think about it, that really became imbued into the culture of CIRI. Secondly, Barb's got a lot of backbone. She's not afraid to tell you what she thinks. And if she doesn't agree with you, she's not afraid to tell you that. I've been on the receiving end of that kind of disagreement many times in business, in social services, and especially in politics. Third of all, Barbara's got a lot of compassion. And everybody knows that she puts that compassion to work in our community in a lot of ways that are designed to improve people's lives, people's prospects. And she does it from the big ways that everybody can recognize, where she's the head of a board of directors or the head of a project, and in a lot of small personal ways that I think many people might not recognize. The example that comes to my mind is some of the amazing work she did with homeless youth, homeless high school students, that started with a small personal project she funded from her own pocket and ended with some real social change in that area. Finally, Barbara's got a thing that is very hard to bring to the table, which is good judgment. Any of us who have served on a team, or especially served as the leader of the team, know that you would love to have everybody on the team, and especially the team leader, bring good judgment to bear. You know, luckily for Barb and luckily for CIRI, she was born with good judgment, and she brought a lot of it to the table at various times in the life of the company. But in addition, she put that good judgment to good work. And you can see it reflected in the political and social realms throughout our community. It's made her leadership role very effective. When Barbara turns a team loose on a project, or an organization loose on a project and she's at the head of it, you know it will be done with compassion, but it will also be done with a high degree of judgment that allows the right decisions to be made and results in success that you can see around the company and around the community. So congratulations on 40 years, Barbara.
Barbara Donatelli, my gosh, this is your 40th anniversary. Now, coincidentally, 40 years ago, when I was first born, I wondered if I would ever meet someone as wonderful as you, and I did. And some of the things that we accomplished while I was with CIRI were insurmountable? No, that's not the right word. The right word would be, were gratifying? No, that one's not the right word either. Well, it was gratifying, but it's only because of the fact we hit the financial numbers when it was necessary to do so. Otherwise, we would have just had a lot of fun doing what we were doing. And of course, you're with a great team, and that team has always been a support for everything that was done that I recall. And I just want to say happy 40th anniversary to a wonderful, wonderful lady. I feel better because of you, and I feel I wish I were there in person, and I'm not, but happy anniversary.
Hi, Barb. This is Jim Palmer. We've known each other since 1975 when we worked in Mike Revell's office in Washington, D.C. Even then, we're both much younger, but we knew that you were something very special and had a lot of potential, and certainly you have proved that to be a true belief throughout your career. We have remained friends and acquaintances and professional colleagues since that time. And we've had many opportunities to serve on boards. I must admit, looking at the number of boards and commissions and other things that you've been on through the years, they're too numerous to enumerate. I do have the current privilege and honor of serving with you on the Alaska Community Foundation board, and that's always a pleasure because we value your wisdom and your knowledge. You've made us a much better organization because of your presence. I've always am kind of amused that I don't think you're a golfer, but you, I think throughout your tenure at CIRI, have been in charge or been very involved with the CIRI Golf Tournament, which has raised lots of money for the CIRI scholarships. But someday you need to take up golf. and play in it as opposed to just organize it. So Barb, thank you for all you've done for certainly for CIRI and for the state. You started with CIRI only after it was in existence for about 9 years, and it has become one of the economic engines of this state, which we're all very happy about. So, Barb, happy anniversary, 40 years. You've aged gracefully, and I wish I could say the same for myself. Thank you, Barbara. Happy anniversary.